I'd like to welcome everybody to today's extraordinary meeting and declare the meeting open. Meeting will be live streamed via Zoom webinar facilities. Recordings of council meetings or parts thereof cannot be copied, recorded, reproduced, reused or transmitted without the prior written consent of the General Manager. Meetings being recorded and made publicly available on council's website, and persons attending the meeting should refrain from making any defamatory statements. Council acknowledges that this meeting is being held on the traditional lands of the Wiradjuri, Gundungurra and Darug people and respects the history and culture of the elders both past and present. We've got two leave of absences, Councillor Robert Lee and Mayor Andrew McKibben, and we also have Councillor Trembath online. So we have a motion to accept that, please. Councillor Hayden, Councillor Alevris. In favour? Yeah. Any declarations of interest? No. Good. Item 4.1, 2024-25 financial year unaudited financial statements. The recommendation is that accepts the 2024-25 unaudited financial statements.
Played at rugby league games in Australia.
Are you getting that?
There you go.
And we mute whatever that was.
Yep, we have. Yep.
I'll start that recommendation again. That council accepts the 2020 financial statements. Section 4133 of the Local Government Act 1993 as amended and the regulations thereunder. He confirms that the financial statements of 1993 regulation claim the Australian Accounting Standards, professional pronouncements, and the Local Government Code of Accounting Practice and Financial Reporting. 3, acknowledges that the financial statements present fairly council's operating result and financial position for the year. 4, confirms that the financial statements accord with the council's accounting and other records. 5, refers the 2024-25 financial statements for audit. 6, delegate the Mayor, Deputy Mayor, General Manager and the Corporate Services Director to sign the 2024-25 financial statements when the Audit Office review has been received and there are no material changes required. Is there a motion? Councillor McCarthy, Councillor Tucker to second. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy with the report. I just need a bit of clarification on page 83 of 106. Surplus from deficit from continuous operation from capital amounts. That's 694,000. Last year was only 313. You got that one, Zoe?
Sorry, I'm trying to get to 83.
What page did suit you?
No, 83 is fine.
83?
83 106.
Yeah.
Oh, 83 106.
There's 3 circles.
83 of 106, councillor.
Hey?
83 of 106.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, yes. Can the councillor please repeat the question?
Just why they, well, I'm starting to get worried when something's more than 10%. And these are, well, in the first line, the surplus deficit from continued operation before capital amount.
Mhm.
It's 694, was last year 313. And if you miss the next one and go down the next one, it's they're all extremely high, or they're all the same amount, aren't they?
Through the chair, there appears to be a greater income in, so that income statement is specific for the water fund. The income for the 25 year appears to be greater than the prior year, and there appeared when we pulled the data to be less or to the same expenditure in works. So with a greater income and a similar expenditure, we have seen that there is more surplus in the water fund, apologies, for the year.
Would that relate to not doing the mains replacement, or would that be different?
The mains replacement will show in the capital section, which is in the balance sheet items.
Okay, so it wouldn't be in that one. Okay, thank you.
This is money reserved.
That's the profit and loss for the waterfront.
Yeah, sure. Anything else, councillor Murphy?
That's fine with me, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Also, I have no problem at all with the report and voting in favour. I do just have a couple of questions just for my own clarification. Some of them may not be able to be answered immediately. A couple of them might need to go to Cornelia, might be suitable topics for our works working party next week. My first question is on page 24 of 106. And it shows the New South Wales Works income of 519,000, whereas the previous year was 3,995,000. So I assume that's income from the contract that we carry out, and I did notice there was a note about it also on page 38. So that's from our annual ongoing contract. But I'm curious to know why the big reduction from the previous year, whether it was simply they didn't ask us to quote on projects as the previous year, or whether we chose not to quote, or whether we quoted and didn't win the works.
So
So I can start and Zoe can come. It's not that we didn't quote, it's not that the works weren't there. Last year, if you remember rightly, was a big year where a lot of grant funding had to be undertaken by that end of financial year. And council resolved to complete those works on that capital front, which led to a reduction in those additional stuffs on the additional works that we would have done in that RMCC space. We note that as part of 25-26 and a huge opportunity for us to look at that sort of ongoing capital works that we do with Transport for New South Wales. And we're through our new stuff, we're working on a program around trying to increase that again. So the works were limited because of our other committed works that we were doing, but we know that RMCC works are things that we can work with Transport for New South Wales on.
sorry, through the chair, to supplement what Gary said about the 24-25 financial year. During the 23-24, where we received the $3.9 million, there was a large major RMCC works undertaken on both the O'Connell Road and Duck Malloy Road in relation to a life segment heavy patching program, which was a spike for that year as well.
So we've got no reason to think that the reduced amount of works per year is going to continue. No. All right. Would it be possible, I'm certainly not expecting it right now, would it be possible just to get a breakdown of the projects that were done during that previous financial year and what the bottom line was in terms of how much profit or loss we made on that contract in the financial year? The same as I've had in the previous couple of years. I'm interested to see that, because that is critical in terms of whether it is worth our while being in that contract. So I'm just interested to see that bottom line figure for profit or loss.
That's for the 23-24 financial year.
No,
for last month.
For 24,
Sorry.
25.
Thank
From
you.
the 580.
Yes, if our total income was 519,000, how much profit did we make? Or I hope it wasn't a loss, but I hope it was a loss.
So also through the chair, remember the way that the RMCC contract works is a little bit different than what it has been in the past. But try and provide you that detail on the works undertaken and where they were, and I get where you're coming from, and I know where you're trying.
Yeah, and noting that it will either be presented informally and verbally or confidentially. I'm not expecting the figure to be, written in the report.
Thank you, councillor. You understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah. My next question is page 32 of 106. And the big, and we're talking note B3-2. So road maintenance contractors, there was a big reduction from the previous year. 23-24 was 10,419,000. 24-25 was 2,589,000. And I would interested to know why such a big reduction in contractors in the year.
Through the chair, B3-2 has two components. It has all the expenditure to those items, and then it has the less capitalised cost down the bottom to net out back to what was operational costs. And that's an important thing for me to highlight because during the 23-24 financial year, we were finishing off the table ends way. We were still working on FLR 3, potentially 3-4. So we did have some larger road maintenance contracts for that then netted off into that $13.8 million in the less capitalisation costs. So then we then put them on our balance sheet. But that's why we can see such a significant decrease.
But it doesn't indicate any general shift from away from contract and doing stuff in-house. It's more of an accounting thing.
It's more reflective of those larger scale capital projects.
And through the chair, it's reflected in the lack of bigger capital grants that we've received that year, that those types of works are very difficult to get under a grant.
But even though it's described as road maintenance, so I was expecting that capital works wouldn't have been included in that big.
Well, yeah, as those indicated, that's how we captured it, which is obviously netted at the bottom.
Yeah, thank you. On the same page, insurance previous year was shown as 17,000, is now 583,000.
Through the chair, in the final audit report we received from the auditors, it's noted as an immaterial, uncorrected misstatement in the 24 financial year. It wasn't shown correctly last year, and it's notated.
I thought it might have been a changeover from one year to when they're paid or whatever.
Yeah, we do pay the insurances at the cusp of the FY, and the treatment got skewed in the 24.
I know insurance has increased, but I would have been surprised if it increased by that much.
And through the chair, if it was 17,000 the year before, why did we change?
Or why didn't we pay 50 years in advance? Question number 3 of my 4 is back to page 83, where Councillor McCarthy was a couple of minutes ago. Water purchase charges was 117,000, 674,000.
Yep, through the chair, during the financial year, we have corrected where the water purchases were going so that we could reflect them accurately during the 25 financial year, which didn't occur in the 24 year. But the line to line does marry up, plus a little bit of increase over the year, but not to the amount shown here.
All right, so it's more of a changeover from one year to the next year sort of effect.
Yeah, and correcting the location of the invoices in the system.
Thank you. My final one is page 96. And something I've just struggled to understand what was going on. So looking at the tables of figures, the third column says 24-25 required maintenance. So I'm interested to know what that actually means and where do those figures in that column come from, and why they are so much lower than the figures for annual maintenance for sealed and unsealed roads in both Morrison Low and the asset management plan both indicate how much money we should be spending on maintenance on sealed and unsealed roads. But this column of required maintenance is significantly lower than those figures. So I'm wondering what the required maintenance column means.
So through the chair, this table is predominantly developed through our asset management consultant at this point in time. And at the 24-25 required maintenance column has been indicated as a part of their assessment of our asset banks and with a little bit of budgetary constraints tied to it. This is one of the instances where Oberon Council is embarking on a journey to bring these reports back in-house to make sure that we can control the data more accurately. But according to their data set, that has come through as required maintenance, looking at the categories of the assets, of the specific assets, which we're hoping once bringing it in, we can have a better understanding of the data and make sure that it's more appropriate for the future.
Just surprised that it was lower than both those previous reports. I expect the figures to increase over time, but substantially lower.
And I think that we recognise that through the actual spend rather than what the forecast. So the reason why we want to.
I knew there was a big difference between actual and required. I just thought the required would probably have just sort of sat there stable and unchanging for a number of years until those other plans got updated. That was what surprised me. But thank you for those explanations. That's all my questions. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Hayden.
Yes. Thank you, Councillor Tucker, for all his questions. I just have one query, and that's on the cleaning under contractor costs B32, which is the page 32 of 106. That's gone down from 54,000 to 12,000. Is that stating that our cleaner gets paid 12,000 running now?
Through the chair, no, I'll have a look into that to see if it has been included in a different line item.
And just to give you, we have a contract cleaner and that contract is due up and we're looking at our options around what that looks like.
Understood that completely.
You finished, Councillor Hayden? Yeah. Councillor Leverett.
Yeah, thank you. Look, I'm quite happy with the report. I just have one, I guess, question. General question is with the backlog, road renewals. I mean, we're talking about, I think I worked out $20 million. I mean, how far behind are we in that area? Anyone give us any indications? Cornelia, maybe?
Well, our infrastructure backlog continues to increase. The infrastructure backlog increases because we've added new infrastructure to our organisation, like a lot of people have over time.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the sticking points for government when they look at like that infrastructure backlog across the state, and local government is always going back to government to say that's why we always are asking for the increase in the FAG payment, so we can get more of this sort of backlog catered for. We will never have the money within our current budget, as would any other council, I don't think, to fix the backlog as it sits, when we're getting the limited opportunity to do that in a maintenance space. Like, there's no pretty ribbon cutting in a maintenance space. So the backlogs themselves are always going to increase while ever we continue to provide new infrastructure.
So going forward, it's going to be increasing 6.5% to
Potentially. Yep.
Okay. That is a concern. Yeah.
It's a concern across the board.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Councillor Connor.
Thanks, lady there. I've got some silly question that I'll start. Just insurance 500. Is there a reason insurance? Sorry, excuse me if I've been given this information before. Insurance went from 17,000 to 583. Is there?
Yeah, as councillor Tully, sorry.
Sorry, through the chair, so in the 24 financial year, it was noted as an immaterial unadjusted error. And
That's, because it has gone up.
User charge fees, Transport New South Wales, was that the same question?
Same question, yeah.
Number 3, roads written off.
through the chair, so as a part of our rehabilitation on the Arkstone Road, I believe it was for fixing local roads 4, when we put the new works into the asset register, we are required to write off the value of the road from the asset register so we don't overinflate the asset. So that is the value that it was holding at the time of the
Payables to land transfer in the payments.
Yep, so through the chair, the land transfer relates to the contract with, sorry, Gary, you might be better at explaining it.
It is the transfer of land between the Oberon Sports Complex and the existing facility.
So we are $1 million.
So it's through the chair, we paid $1 million for the land in which we have purchased. We had to do that to enable us to get the development operational. And then as part of that, there is a transfer back when we sell the land that we own in the contract.
It's shown as a payable, which is.
Yeah, through the chair, when we complete the contract, we will be transferring the asset into Borgs. Therefore, it is treated as a payable and sitting as a liability until such time the contract obligations are met and the transfer occurs.
Yep.
It's also our insurance.
Yep. So, more important question. So with the grant income, the main question I'm asking is where do we sit with other councils? But in terms of that, the question I've got is that operating grant income's down by 3.5, capital grants down by 7.3, so we've got $11 million. That's right. Yeah, it's roughly. But so that's that in itself. How are we sitting with other councils? Has there been an equivalent reduction in grant income right across the board?
It's clear with any conversation that the mayor, the deputy mayor, or myself attend, it's noted significantly across the area.
It's in line.
Yeah.
Having said that, our grant income for capital grant and contribution provided for capital purposes. In our budget, we still had 9 million. And I remember back in November, December saying we on track with our budgeted income, and it was said yes, but we're well down. So there was a shift since Christmas.
Yeah, through the chair, when we complete the financial statements, we are required to use the original budget as the unaudited budgeted column. Through the QBR process, all that information had come through, and that information has then been provided with an updated forecast to where we would end. So this budget is from the first one. It doesn't have all those QBR adjustments with the rationale there.
And to make it very simple, it's the fact that we haven't started the STP yet.
Yeah.
So that money still sits there until it gets recognised as a capital work. So there's $6.5 million from the STP that was earmarked to go on.
So we're equivalent to other councils. We're getting treated the same. Okay, so
Which is poorly, but anyway, it's.
So with the council mayoral fees, page 72, so we'd originally asked through council that we'd get a breakup, and that was to be provided in the financial statements as per each council of what we received.
Through the chair, that was the annual report, not the financial statement.
When will that be?
November is our annual report requirements.
So, but it ties to this,
Through the chair, the format of the financial statements are dictated by the OLG Code of Accounting Conduct, which we work towards. It doesn't have the sections to provide for the split out per councillor within the financial statement.
Okay.
So the annual report will have that.
But our motion or agreement was that we'd have it by July, August. So can we still have that by July, August, that we can reconcile back to these statements?
Through the chair, can I take that on notice?
Yeah,
Because I
take
would have
that on
thought
notice.
that we would have put it in the annual report as what we would normally have said in that.
Take it on notice, I'll refer back to.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, so council general fund operating ratio. Can you give me a little bit of guidance how that's calculated? It's quite simple, but what the operating ratio will be and what that means?
And that's on page. Just, sorry, I'm struggling from page.
No, if you've got it embedded in there, I just.
Oh,
See it?
through the chair, the ratios were removed from the financial statement, so I don't have it to grasp.
So I've calculated it somewhere, but it's quite simple to do, but isn't it?
Yeah,
So is it minus 38 or minus 50%?
it's not 50,
38,
20.
20?
Noting minus 20. Through the chair, the way that we work this financial year is a lot of the expenditure that we've faced this year is we've got some projects that we're going in a maintenance space, which is operational. Now, we received all the money for that in the 24 financial year and had to declare it as income there. We did, during the budgeting process, note that we will now see the expenditure side, so it will start to draw negative operating results as we use those reserves to make those.
So if you could provide us with the operating ratio, how you calculate it, and then how we could, in terms of office of local government, how is that one of the main ratios they look at in terms of how we sit?
Through the chair, absolutely to provide those ratios. The other page to direct councillors to is the D11 income statement by fund.
Yeah.
The circled area, you can see the pressure the general fund is under, and particularly the big impact of depreciation, things that particularly hits that fund. But we can, as a follow, we can do those ratios. Absolutely.
Yes. So with that question you just had then, all this information regarding the fund, one question I had was, which one was in here? So, oh, yeah, there it is here. So under the current assets, general fund has a negative non-current asset of 2 million, no more than, yeah, is it $2 million? So that in that breakdown, you're talking about it has a negative, whereas sewage and water have a positive.
Through the chair, correct, in the income statement by fund you're referencing.
You know, how do we deal with that? Or has there been, I think, the funds in both water and sewage have to be restricted. They're not,
That's correct.
there hasn't been any leakage back to make that a negative, or?
No, so through that, when you look at the income statement by fund, so if we remove all your depreciation, amortization, impairment, you can get an operating result from continuing operations. So generally the three funds will sit about at $1 million surplus, but unfortunately, well, the general fund then will take another 6 million in depreciation, which drops that result, a long way down. But the water and sewer fund actually generally are quite healthy in that respect because of the nature of the infrastructure as well. The depreciation is not.
So it's not a problem having a negative like we've got this.
It's through. I wouldn't say it's not a problem. I think kind of it's just highlighting that the general fund continues to bear the brunt of that, and that's the area we definitely need to be. We are monitoring, but you can see where all that depreciation hits in that respect.
Okay. Oh, here's the one. This might be, if you could help me with this. So the balance sheet, if you look at, say the total assets are 387 billion. If you can, what would be the restricted and unrestricted portion of that 387?
Through the, yeah, through there. Sorry. Okay, so when we look at the restricted, through the chair, apologies, when we look at the restricted, the only thing we can restrict is cash.
Yeah.
So of the 387, all we would look at restricting
Yeah.
would be the cash and cash equivalent and the investments. So the 9 plus the 18. So that's all we can restrict.
27
Yes,
is restricted.
yes.
I say that it's restricted. So then we've got a problem, haven't we? Because you've got unrestricted being less than liabilities.
It's in the balance sheet at the moment.
So even though we've got them restricted, they can also be restricted to cover the liabilities, the payables,
Which one?
all of them,
All of them.
potentially, yes. But noting 1 million of those liabilities is in relation to the land transfer that we
Yeah.
hold as an asset, not as physical cash.
Yeah. But we've got employee benefits, we've got payables, we've got contingent, contract liabilities, borrowing.
Yes. We also
So
have
the
the,
unrestricted, sort of restricted can cover that.
and the federal assistant grant that we received at the end of the financial year is relation to this financial year. So when the 1st of July rolls around, we restrict that to make it operational funds to cover for this financial year.
So no problem.
Well, through the chair, we have our total restrictions of 27 million. Of those, 21 of those are external. That's our cash position. Yeah.
So 21's external, that leaves 7 that's available.
Correct.
Which isn't your staff wages.
Whatever it is.
I'd go through with that with you a bit more. I'm just trying to understand. I always look at it as a moment in time. That if everything happening every day.
Yep.
Are we, I'm not going to use the word solvent, but are we okay? So I might just go through them.
And through the chair, we can provide you some of those ratios that talk about cash cover and things like that as well.
And then,
But equally, council, our leave entitlements that we have here don't cover the day and time when everything leaves. Like we put calculations around that, and we continually talk to our auditors about what is an appropriate number to have in that space. So yeah, you're right, that if it happens in one day, it's not the true value, because some of that is apportioned as well.
so the last one, just a comment. So that's taken as a comment on it. So pick up the figures and, it's just a comment by one person, so.
Yeah.
And, I pick up the figures, the thing that just jumps out at me when you're fresh eyes from a distance is, that, for the next 12 months, 2 years, it's, nothing new, complete where we've got roads, rubbish and sewage. Everything has to be kept eminently simple. And to me, again, it's just an opinion, comment. The sewage treatment plant, I get nervous because we've got to focus on our balance sheet, and the external bit that we can't control, we've got to manage what we can control. And I just think it's just such a critical time for the next year or two until the tide turns. That's just good.
Thank you, councillor O'Connor. You want to write a reply, councillor McCarthy?
Just hang in there, Yes, just to give councillor Trimmer, I think she got a new comment. I don't, she hasn't put it in that, but I'll.
Councillor Trevor, do you want to join in?
She hasn't put her hand up.
Sorry. I was just trying to find my unmute. Look, a lot of the questions wanting more information have been asked, so I'm happy with what I've heard so far.
Thank you. So I'll put the motion as the recommendation. All in favour?
I've got my hand up.
Thank you. Unanimous. So we now go to item 4.2, which is the finance update. The recommendation is that council receives and notes report 4.2 as information. Have a motion. Councillor Tucker, Councillor McCarthy, thank you. Councillor Tucker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. No comments or questions on any of the numbers, just a very general comment that when the mistake was noticed, and I said previously, I'm sure none of us like to see that. I'm sure the staff didn't enjoy reporting it to us, but I was extremely reassured by the fact that it was reported to us openly, and you make a mistake and you fix it, and that's what has happened. So I appreciate that, and I've got a lot of confidence in our finance staff.
Councillor McCarthy,
Pretty straightforward, thank you.
thank you. Councillor Hay.
Yes, I just want to thank the team for bringing this back to us, because when we last did the 23rd meeting, we acknowledged the ad valorem and we approved the ad valorem changes without changing the operational plan and the long-term financial plan to match. So I just want to acknowledge that that's what we're approving here, is we're approving the changes to the operational plan and the long-term financial plan that I've been harping on about. So I'd like to thank everyone for doing that. And I can now be happy that the changes have been made and will progress through and keep our budgets intact in that order. Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, put the motion as the recommendation. Oh, did you want to write it?
No, I just wondered if Councillor Trembath had anything that was.
No, I just put my hand up, ready to go. So no, I don't have any comments. Thank you.
I'll put the motion. All in favour? Passed unanimously. So, don't have any comments. Item 5, there's no confidential reports. Next ordinary meeting is on the 16th of September, and declare the meeting closed.